Hey, it's Amanda, and you're in my kitchen and we're about to cook some skillet risotto. It's cooking time! Today I'll be making the skillet risotto, but before I get started I wanted to show you what I'll be using today. I'm going to be using a cast iron skillet. I've had it for years and it's really well seasoned. Then I'm going to be using a medium saucepan to just let the chicken broth simmer. Then I'm going to be using 13 ingredients today. I'm going to be using wine, Philadelphia cream cheese, salt and pepper, pancetta, garlic and shallots, risotto, artichokes, spinach, chicken broth, butter, and olive oil. First, to start the dish, we're going to put in some EVOO into the pan, about a tablespoon. Then, we're going to put in about 6 tablespoons of butter. It sounds like a lot, but it really makes it really creamy and rich. Okay, then, once that is melted down, we're going to add in some pancetta. Now that the pancetta is nice and crispy and the oil has lots of pancetta-y flavor, I'm going to take it out and use it as a topping for later. Then, I'm going to add the shallots and garlic into the nice, flavorful oil. I'm going to let the garlic get a little bit less raw tasting, and then the shallots are going to get nice and translucent. Now that the shallots are translucent and the garlic is pretty well cooked, we're going to add in the risotto so that the butter and oil can coat each rice individually, and so that prevents clumping. It's nice and creamy, that's what you want. So we're going to add a cup of Arborio rice, and then stir very well because you want to get each individual grain coated very, very well. After about a minute or so, we're going to add in some wine. I've added in the half a cup of wine, and I used a really nice buttery rich wine. I used a cake bread wine, but any wine will do at the grocery store. It really doesn't matter what you use. I just prefer it because it just makes it super rich. Now that the wine is absorbed into the rice, we're going to start incorporating the chicken broth. Every time the chicken broth gets absorbed, we're going to add another 2 cups in. So it's going to take about 3 times to fully absorb. The chicken broth has been simmering on the back burner the entire time I've started this dish. Okay, now that it's in the dish, we're going to stir it once in a while until it's incorporated into each grain individually. Now that the chicken broth is all absorbed into the rice, we're going to add in our salt and pepper. Then we're going to add in the spinach. Now it looks like a lot, but it's going to wilt down to almost nothing. See how bright it makes the dish? It's so nice, and it's such a fresh ingredient. Okay, now that that's almost all incorporated, we're going to add in the artichokes. Now the reason I picked artichokes and spinach is because I just think they go so well together. I've used them in dips, I've used them in pasta dishes. I just like using 2 vegetables that you normally wouldn't think to use. Okay, now that those are incorporated and the spinach is wilted, we're going to add in the last and best ingredient, the Philadelphia cream cheese. We're going to add in the Philadelphia cream cheese once it's got about down to room temperature, And this is the stove is off, but it's still nice and hot and steaming. Cutting it up into cubes is nice because you can put it under some of the more hot areas and it'll melt all over, and then you don't need to cut it up while it's already in the dish. It melts fairly quickly when it's at room temperature. See how creamy that is? I've tried using other cheeses in risotto, but I really truly like cream cheese the best, especially Philadelphia cream cheese. Now that all the yummy ingredients are in the skillet, we're going to top it with the pancetta that we started out with in the pan. And it really just adds a crunchy texture to each bite that you start out with. And it's a melding of all the flavors. So we started out with the pancetta and we're going to end with it. Now let's eat. It's eating time. Let's get a bite of this yummy skillet risotto. Okay. My favorite is when you get a bite of all the vegetables and a bite of that crispy pancetta. So good. I don't think you could get that creaminess factor with anything else but Philadelphia cream cheese. I hope you had fun with me today. See me make this skillet risotto. I hope you make it at home as well. Thank you.